Just to say how much you mean to me. Hey, you are now tuned into Let's Unwind with the Evans. I'm your host, Jessica.
And I'm your host, Thomas Evans. We make up one half each. We make a whole Evans.
We do, huh?
That's what we do.
Nice. So as you guys are tuning in, please tag and share, tag and share. We want to be able to build this audience. We're here every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And I don't know if everyone has seen what's been going viral, at least on my timeline. There have been some interesting conversation about this meme. So as you guys are tuning in, we're going to go over what those specifics to the meme actually were. But very interesting perspective. And the blended families, the married couples, single parents, y'all are going to love it. And we're interested to see how you actually feel after hearing it. So
I'm telling you, it's going to be off the chain tonight.
Absolutely. Y'all ready?
She said, are y'all ready?
Are y'all ready?
Yeah, are y'all ready?
Hey, Jaya. And did you share it to yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. All right, so we have done the business first, which was sharing and making sure everyone is able to see it and access it. No one's bullying us or beating us up afterwards saying they didn't see it and didn't get a notification. So you guys know how that goes in social media.
Well, in that case, let me go ahead and see if I can get a few folks. You just mentioned bullying. Yeah, people will bully.
Absolutely.
They will do that. And while we're doing that, you tag and share as well, guys. Let's get this thing up. I'm telling you, we got a topic for you tonight.
Absolutely.
And it is going to blow your mind. As many of you may know, we've got the singles group. And the singles have just been blowing up. We've got a private chat that we do with them, and they've just been rocking. Listen, it's been popping the past few days, man. They all over on it. I'm just like, wow, these folks, they ain't playing.
Not at all. So we are actually going to have a lot of different things coming along for the pipeline, for the singles, and all that good stuff in Let's Unwind. So thank you for all of those who have tuned in, who have shared, who have really been consistent watching us and supporting us for over a year now.
Yes.
So we appreciate you all so very much.
We really do. It's been a blessing to be able to share the insight and the wisdom and things like that God has given us with you guys. I mean, again, we can't thank you enough for, your appreciation, your support, and all that you do financially, physically, mentally, all of that stuff. And, it's been something. And even on that note, there have been some of you that have been praying for us personally recently. We thank you for that. It's just, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. And much has come forth through prayer. So we just thank those of you for that as well. Sharon, I was just looking for you. I was just literally looking for her. That's my buddy.
That's my beautiful cousin.
That's my home skillet right there.
Yes.
I better not say that.
Proud mama.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Her daughter just graduated this weekend.
Yes.
She made it happen. She finally did that thing.
She did. She really did.
I'm proud of Danielle, man. Just making it happen,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Making it happen. So, Sharon, Danielle, boom.
So as you all are joining, those who are just tuned in now, go ahead and tag and share. We're going to go ahead and kick this off to get started. What actually went viral, which I was kind of shocked. I that it went viral, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like, well, you guys know controversy and all of that. That sells, drama sells, right? That's why we have reality TV. Hello. So there's a lot of different things. So I don't know. I know people gravitate to drama, so I don't know. But the meme actually was, you guys, it was from Amani King. Now, we don't know who Amani is. There's no
name. Oh, Jesus.
Look.
Don't look for us.
This thing say 192 retweets, 3,394 quote tweets, 725 likes.
Don't look for us. Don't look for us. Don't find us.
So it's okay, you know. So this was actually posted, and it was yesterday actually, but it went viral. So she said, my daughter made a new friend at the playground.
Ellen, my buddy, how you doing, Ellen?
I asked the dad if we can have a play date. He's like, okay, I'll give your number to my wife and you can ask her. IDK, why that was weird to me. Aren't you her parent too? Men who have to ask their wives first bug me. That was the end of it. Men who have to ask their wives bug me. So yeah.
Tony.
Hi, Tony. Hello, you guys.
It's just crazy. So just let's break it down again and paraphrase it. The young lady said her daughter went to the park. She met a guy and she tried to set up a play date. And the guy said, okay, great. Gave her a number and said, I'll tell my wife we can hook it up. The lady said she felt weird because she felt like, why would you have to go talk to your wife about something like that? Aren't you a parent too? Now, I'm gonna let you go ahead because I'm boiling on this thing. You go ahead. You rocks with it, baby. Rocks with it, baby.
Well, from the comments that I saw on social media, it was the perspective of, I don't see anything wrong with it. She's correct in that statement. That is their biological child together. So he shouldn't have to consult. So I saw that. Then I saw, comments to where they're just like, no, she had a motive. She had an agenda flat out. And obviously she doesn't have a husband or a man for that matter. Because I just saw all of it. Like, she's not even speaking from somebody who was even involved with someone else after her child's father. She's not even coming from that. So it's a lot of different things concerning that. So then, I saw it on my timeline, and then one of the panelists from our single show, he, put it in our chat and said, hey, what do y'all think about this? What's your viewpoint on this? And there were a lot of different responses. Everyone was pretty much on the same accord, women and men, surprisingly. So, and when I say surprisingly, I mean, the chat is also mainly the guys in the chat are single fathers, right? So they could have had a whole different, take on it. Some are divorced, some just are not in a relationship. So there's a blend, if you will, of different paths and journeys that in one particular central location, if you will. So for the most part, everyone, had the same mindset. They said the same thing. So I will just go by saying, my take on it is the fact that it's not disrespectful that the husband consulted his wife with any decision making. Outside of the children, there are certain things in everyday life, whatever the case may be, if that is the dynamic of their relationship. Now, some marriages, they may not operate like that. They may have communication issues, communication barriers. They might operate dysfunctionally, and that's just how they operate. But from a healthy marriage standpoint, typically it's not just one person making the rules or making all the decisions.
Hey, sure. Oh, God bless you.
Or you have to check in with this one person who is a dictator to your marriage or your household. That's not typically how marriages work. So
on that point, put a pin in that. It's interesting that a lot of single people, however, do have that train of thought, that by checking in with a spouse, it is because your spouse is a dictator, they're controlling, they run you, or you're just weak and you don't have a voice. And I'm not sure why that's a, something that's there, but that is something that's a real topic that is out there. And so, that's a great point that you brought that up. Okay, you can go ahead, Gordon.
See how he dictated, y'all? Just kidding. That was a blooper. But no, I was saying that the fact that that's not typically how a healthy marriage should run. A marriage should run in the fact that, okay, I'm going to be considerate of your time, your feelings, what works for this family, what does not work, what's convenient, what's an inconvenience, all of those different things, scheduling conflicts, whatever the case may be, I'm going to, because my wife is it's not just a piece of paper. It's not just we have a license to be married. In a healthy marriage, that's my best friend. I take wife out of it.
Right.
That's my best friend. So I'm wrong for consulting my best friend? Not necessarily. So I just think that, there is a point being made of what order should women come from a baby mama, if you will, a wife, a mother, and the children. There was a meme floating around with that on social media for the longest, but ultimately it's about what's the united front that we have together. Right. So Imani in the meme, she had a agenda. She had an agenda. The reason why there was an agenda, if you look closely.
She was going like Steve. Go ahead, Steve. Break it down. Strawberry letter. Come on.
So stupid. If you look closely, she said, my daughter made a new friend at the playground. I asked the dad if we can have a play date. Okay. So my thing, so that's step one that we could have. So just you and the child's father. Cool, right? He then said, which allows you to know the dynamic of their relationship outside of the wife, but their relationship. He's like, okay, I'll give your number to my wife and you can ask her. All right. So I say this to say, most men can fall in the trap of being naive, especially when it comes to their children, right?
That's a trigger.
Right. So they can blindly miss red flags. Yes. They can blindly get coerced in a thing. Right. I'm saying most men, because they just want to be a great father. Right. Outside of if the relationship worked or it didn't, right. I want to be a great father. Right. So I say that to say the husband could have said, oh yeah, we could do that.
Let's hook it up.
Not thinking nothing of it, not because he had an agenda, but just saying, okay, well, it's for the child. Nothing's wrong with it. Yeah, I need to meet her parents. Naive, right? I need to meet her parents. Not thinking that there's an agenda between him and the other woman. But he specifically knew something was wrong with that dynamic. And he's like, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to do this because I know how either she could be personally or I know how this can be perceived on the other end. Okay, this brings me to my point. It is not, when you break up, you have a child, that's the byproduct of your relationship, so be it. But it's not his obligation to appease
What's up, Marcus?
an ex. We talking about a play date.
Well, let me jump in this for a minute because it's interesting, and I'm with her 100%. First, but let me say this: one of two things has happened. This man is absolutely in love with, his wife, which is why he did the right thing, which is saying, I'll give my wife the number, and if you want to do a play date, set that up together.
Mm-hmm.
This man had been jumped on before by his wife. This woman has already told him how to handle things and what's going on. This is a good woman, okay? Mm-hmm. This man has a good woman who has schooled him already on the nuances of what's going on. And so, as a result, like I said, forget them kids. Hey, look, I'm trying to tell. So the reality is, this man, his wife has schooled him already. He like, I'm not the one. But as we were dialoguing about this, I told my wife, I said, I'm certain that there were some other comments made leading up to the play date part.
Yes.
Which were clues for this man to say, okay, this woman is trying to either push up on me or she's trying to, do something in a different direction. And respectfully, I'm going to do the right thing. And I'm going to let her know, first of all, that I'm married and that if she wants to continue this forward, she can talk to my wife.
Yep.
Now, there were a lot of comments that were posted that basically went in the direction of he's a weak man. There were a lot of comments posted. He's a punk because he couldn't stand up for himself. Why couldn't he just say no? And it's like, okay, now, and this is kind of where in our chat we were discussing it. It's because this is where it's a fine line that has to be drawn, because when a man does do things that are respectful, a lot of times it's looked at as though he's weak. Then when he decides to do something aggressive, all of a sudden he can't control himself. And so it's like, as men, what are we supposed to do? Was he being a punk or was he being respectful? And we've got to recognize what's transpired and define this line, because I'm a man and I've been hearing it for years. I get frustrated sometimes at the imbalance that takes place from the outside world. A man shows emotion, he weak. Oh, if a man this or that. And it's like, okay, can a man just be a man?
Yeah.
Without there being all these stigmas tapped on him for what he did. Because the reality is this woman was wrong. This woman was dead wrong. She was trying to get with this man. Because here's the reality. And here's the bad part. What if he would have been like, you know what? Let's go ahead and set up the play date. Let me go ahead and get your number. Let me go ahead. Now, all of a sudden, you really going to label him, oh, he's a dog. Oh, he was this. Oh, he was that. But then he does the opposite thing, and he shows you respect. And you dog him because he showed you respect.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that. As a man, I have a problem with that. Because for me, I mentor men.
And out here making you look stupid or making you.
Exactly. Because for me,
leading you on.
I'm a man. And I have to be honest. A lot of times men do foolish things that make us look crazy. And to finally hear that there's a man that did the right thing, that did something that was really, on point to represent us in the right way, he still gets shot. I'm like, wait a minute. This is not, how do you feel weird because this man said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and check with my wife on this and give her your number. That way you and her, listen, my wife and I, we have that same kind of arrangement. I don't really deal with women like that, where I'm talking to a woman by myself and on the thing. And if I'm like in a text message chat or something, I'm in there with a group chat with my wife, simply because I want to make sure that my wife can govern the conversation. She can see what's being spoken.
I am a dictator.
No, not to govern from that perspective, but just to be able to see what's going on, so that there's no, because watch this, anybody can say anything.
Come on.
Anybody can say anything.
Go there.
And so you want to make sure that you don't give room for somebody to say something that you didn't say. And so that's why in his case, he did the right thing by making sure that CYB, cover that butt. You cover that thing. And so he put it, look, I will give my wife your number. And y'all can set that thing up. But I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I set this up and then the wife comes at me. See, this is why we got to understand how to maneuver and do things. Because, again, anybody can say anything they want to say. Anybody can say anything they want to say. but you don't give that person the ability to say nothing bad about you. The Bible says it. Don't let your good be evil spoken of. And so by doing that, what happens is, he said, we perfect in all our ways.
Man, right?
No, look, we listen. Brothers do some stuff. No, brothers do stuff, and I'm telling you, it'd be like, why did he do that? Oh, I mean, it just resonates all through manhood. We just be like, but I'm telling you, you got to recognize that way. Your wife has the ability to see what was spoken. Your wife has the ability to recognize, and so now somebody can come and say, girl, that you know that your husband, wait, no, my husband didn't.
Yeah.
Because I seen it for myself. I recognized it myself. He did. And this is where we got to recognize how to cover ourselves. We got to recognize that was Shauna, by the way, that said that. He covered himself. His wife is married. And that's what I'm saying. It's all about being able to cover yourself the right way. Again, my problem is with the people who want to bash this man and say that he is weak because he decided to check with his wife. And watch this. It wasn't about checking with his wife to see if he had permission to do it. Yeah. It was about, baby, what do you think about this trick?
Accountability. Can we talk about accountability?
No, we're not supposed to have accountability in a marriage.
What?
That's
what divorce rate high?
That's where the single people have this issue with accountability because they think accountability is control.
Well, you know she's single.
And I don't want that's obvious. And I don't want nobody controlling me. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. So I don't want to be accountable and I don't want to be responsible. And that is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people today don't want to submit in marriage. It's because they don't want to be accountable to somebody because their idea of accountability is distorted. It's distorted. That's distorted thinking. Accountability is simply, I'm accountable to you just as you are accountable to me. It's an equal thing. So we're both accountable. And a lot of people have this distorted perspective of what accountability is, and they won't be accountable, don't want to be accountable. People don't want to listen to leadership. They don't want to be accountable to doctors. They don't want to be accountable to police. We got people who will not be, they tell you to stop, you don't want to stop.
In your life. Because you don't want
to submit and you don't want to be accountable. It's so many. We are in a society today where accountability is like a second thought. It's like, do what I want to do when I want to do it, and don't let nobody tell me nothing about it. If I'm wrong, don't tell me I'm wrong because I'm gonna look through rose-colored glasses that I'm right. No, you are wrong. And watch, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Because being wrong sometimes helps you understand how to align yourself to be right.
Absolutely.
And accountability is simply holding you to a thing so that you can understand this is what a thing is, and this is what makes it right, and this is what makes it wrong. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Why do we fight accountability so much?
And I will also say, if you've never seen a successful, healthy marriage, and all you have around you are single, broken families,
distorted thinking.
That helps your distorted thinking. So a lot of people wouldn't see nothing wrong with it. Unfortunately, especially in our culture. There is not a lot of it, right.
Well, I've never seen, and watch, it's a great point because even today, we've seen a lot of broken relationships. There's been divorces and stuff. How high is the rate of ex-couples who do not even get along?
Yeah, can't even co-parent.
Who can't even, whatever happened to being able to say, you know what, this just doesn't work for us. We're going to step away from this. I still love you.
Yeah.
But I recognize that for my peace and for the betterment of where I'm going, I need to go ahead and step away from this. You go on with your life. I'm going to go on with mine. And we're going to still be able to talk and get along and get in. But unfortunately, most people see so many arguments. Most people see so many people fighting. Most people see people not getting along that they don't even know how to be adults. And then as a result, children get impacted, families get broken, all types of things happen, all because you can't be mature about recognizing we don't get along. Accountability.
And I just want to add something to that. I think a lot of the drama comes because of the lack of boundaries in the first place.
Man.
So it's not just about the opposing party who is giving you and dishing it out on you. It's about, okay, I need to take ownership in the fact that I never once created a boundary. So evidently my life is going to be hell when I begin to move on. Hello.
Wait,
I mean,
did you say make accountability for the fact that I didn't set a boundary?
Yeah. Can we get back
so
on
it
you?
happened to me, but had I set a boundary, it wouldn't have happened to me.
It was preventable. All drama is preventable.
Wow.
All drama, all chaos, whatever situation you may find yourself in that is dysfunctional, it is preventable. And most times, if you trace back, after you get over the hurt, the bitter, the mad, the angry, all of that, when you really trace back and say, you know what, that was on me.
How many people really do that, though? Because most are still pointing the finger at the other person. Look, listen, okay, my wife and I, we do marriage counseling, premarital counseling, divorce counseling, couples counseling.
Hey, Keela.
we do it so frequently. We see these dynamics all the time.
Hey, sure.
When people come, to the forefront and they bring to us, their problems, and we try to help them solve them and things like that. And oftentimes what's amazing is when they bring us their problem, they're always bringing us the other person's issue. Mm. No one ever comes and says, you know what? Here's my bag.
I'm right.
And I want you to just go through my bag.
I know that was my word last week, right?
Here's my bag. Just go through my bag and clear it out for me. They never do that. It's always
like, I like you.
It's always like, okay, this is what she's got. This is what she did. This is how she acts. This is how she. What about you? What was your part?
What was your
what part did you play? How did what happened from your perspective? And I hate to say this, but and we had one person come in and say something about I did everything that I could do to keep them or to make them happy. And I said, but they weren't happy. So obviously you didn't do everything. You did everything you know to do, but that's not everything they needed.
Right.
So it's all about recognizing that, wait a minute, okay, I gotta be able to do self-assessment. I've got to be able to examine me, because the reality is you don't have an X-ray machine to deal with anybody else. Your X-ray is for you. The Bible says it like this: you got a beanpole in your eye, but you're dealing with somebody else's toothpick. So you got to deal with the beanpole. How am I? What type of individual am I? What type of person? Am I a lovable person? Am I a sensitive person? Am I a compassionate person? Am I an empathetic person? Or am I a hellraiser? Every time something goes on, I'm all up in arms. I'm going through changes. Yes. See, if this is you, then it's no wonder the other person don't want to deal with you because of that stuff. Right. But we don't want to deal with that stuff. No, I cook for him and I clean for him. You're telling me all these things, but you're not telling me anything emotional. Yeah. And it's what's emotional that really matters. How are you meeting a need? And because your job is to minister to that person that you're with, which means you're supposed to be meeting a need. And so now what need are you meeting? Cooking and cleaning, anybody can cook and clean. I got a 6-year-old daughter right now who likes to help us cook and clean. So you ain't telling me nothing. Or how they like to say in the church, you ain't talking to me. So beyond that, let's look at this fact that, with this situation.
Can you stick a pin in that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Come on.
We can do that. We can
stick a pin in it.
No, but you guys, so another perspective, and I actually shared this in our singles chat. Okay, so the line where she said, he's like, okay, I'll give you her number, or I'll give your number to my wife and you can ask her. That line, right? So another perspective of thinking of this is, okay, so we're going to do A and B. So A asks B on the play date, right? Mm-hmm. B is like, let me ship it over to C. So CNA can talk about it. Leave me out the equation. All right. I have a particular thought, kind of different than my husband, but I have a particular thought on that because I could see from someone reading the meme, oh, he's being passive. He doesn't really want to make a stance one way or the other, so he's dishing it out on you contact my wife about it. So I will say for those who perceived it that way, because there were, some people who perceived it that way. We have a blended family, as you all know, who follow us. So from that perspective, it's almost like, well, I'm not a baby mama, but I'm not. By the grace of God, y'all, because I got to pass, so I should have some, but, I'm not. What? God knew. I love my God. Okay. Listen to me, guys.
You don't even receive that.
So listen, a prayer, y'all don't know, I prayed about this thing, but no, I say all that to say, if in the event that I was her or a, single parent, if you will, there should not be, if there's no agenda involved, there should be no reason why you shouldn't want to communicate with the wife.
That part. Boom.
Why is there tension? My question would be, why is there tension? Why is there resistance? Why is it now you want to pass it back to him like, oh, okay, you want to do this and do that. You're her parent too and all this other stuff. But in actuality, it's deflecting from the fact that you don't want to reach out because you don't want accountability. And what you're saying is kind of slanted. Let me take your husband out so we can have a play date by ourselves and pretend like we a family.
Here's the thing about that.
It's like, so I can't be invited. Like, when you say we, can we all?
The people who have a problem with that and think that he's passive were all women.
Yeah.
Which tells me they haven't dated themselves. Because they know good and well, if they was even dating, well, forget married, just dating a dude who said that he just met a woman and she wants him to go out with her, she would have had a hissy fit. So that's, again, is the backward nature of what I was referring to earlier.
Just in general.
Just in general. This man, first of all.
That's really great. You want to know why that's a great point you made? Because somewhere before the wife came along, there was a view that this is going to be a family, right? There was a thought. Mm-hmm. There may have been communication surrounding it. Uh-huh. It may have been all of that. Mm-hmm. So now the other person comes and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to try to use a child as an object and, get some kind of leverage to get you alone. And that's one of the ways that can be very deceptive. But men fall for it all the time. But it could, I'm telling you
earlier, this man's wife has beat him up before.
He let me tell you how smooth women can be.
His wife had already schooled him and beat him up so that he would know what time it is.
Let me take it a step further because, I don't want men thinking I'm just bashing them saying they not.
Oh, she beats me.
No, it's not that. Women cheat.
My wife beat me up.
No, listen. I'm going to help. I'm going to balance this thing out. Women cheat more than men. Yeah, I said it. Women cheat more than men.
Wait.
We just don't get caught.
Oh.
I'm just speaking because I'm a gender,
wow.
But not me. But anyway, y'all get the point.
Heavy that is?
Yes.
I'm surprised you said something like that.
Because women are so analytical. We are not going to put us in the position of getting caught. We're going to make sure, girl, say I was with you.
Because your girlfriend's just going to lie right along with y'all.
Say I'm with you. It's so bad if we feel like we're getting kind of, like, say you're on a date and you're like, gosh, I don't really like, this date and how it's going. Girl, call me at 10 o'clock.
Y'all set up.
Girl, call me at 10. Y'all don't know how slick women are. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, if you didn't know, now you know. And that's not everyone.
That's
I'm
true,
just saying,
Ellen.
by and large, women have a certain way of looking at different viewpoints. They can look outside themselves. So I do, to this meme, I do believe the wife said, honey, let me put you up on game because you're not going to be over here looking bamboozled like a deer in headlights.
She beat that man. I don't know. Listen, she put him in a boxing ring and she boxed with him. You hear me? She had some gloves and she took him to work.
Okay, you could go back to your point.
Ellen said men know the motivations of other men and women know the motivations of other. And you know what? It's so funny you say that because that was actually one of the things that we talked about in our chat. It was funny because I was saying that because I said one of the reasons why men are so protective over their significant other and things like that is because there is a code that men have, which is, I don't care if you with nobody else anyway. I'll take you from him. That is a man. That is the mindset of a man.
And mind you, y'all, even though we're speaking of women and men, we're not saying by and large 99%. We're not even putting a fraction or a percentage on it. What we're saying is,
I'm telling you, 99.9% of a man thinks like,
I'm saying,
I don't care about your man. I'll take you from your man.
Men have that tendency of thinking that way. So can we say that men have that tendency? So it's either you, the individual person that's saying, oh, that tendency there, but I ain't even gonna operate like that. So I'm saying for a woman has a tendency to hide. That is there. Why do we?
And that's, but not to that point.
Why do we?
To that point, that's exactly the point. Because based on that meme, women have the tendency to hide. So for her, it was a slick move to say, "Hey, let me." That was a smooth. Listen, I give her kudos first of all on that thing.
Maybe I shouldn't be.
No, I give her kudos on that thing because it was smooth to be like, you know what? Let's set up a play date. Here's my number. I'm giving you my phone number. I'm not going to make it look like I'm coming on to you all heavy and strained. But what I'm going to do, to your point, is I'm going to use the babies for this, and we can do a play date. So now when you call me, it's on and popping. I already know what I'm going to say. I already know how I'm going to answer the phone. You know, when y'all women you try to be slick, you don't answer the phone right. You don't be like, hello. You be like, hello. You'll not get to the sexy voice. And, hello. What is hello? What is that? And she already had everything down to a science. She knew it.
The hello.
And he just killed her game. That's how y'all do hello.
My husband is
hello. What is hello?
Y'all come get him.
She did. She used the babies as bait, Ellen. She straight up put the babies out there in front street, was like, look, I'm available. Here's my number. Because the reality, listen, if she had a man at home,
he wouldn't be down for no.
There's no way she was going to give no other dude her number. This is how you know she was single. Why are we doing a Steve Harvey cutting up a strawberry letter type thing right now? We are reading.
We're reading somebody's mail.
That is terrible. We're reading through the whole thing. Hello. What?
I'm just like.
No, but I'm just saying, y'all, look, we've got to get back to a place where we understand what accountability is. And no one wants to be accountable anymore for their actions. And so we've got single people out here manipulating people. We've got single people out here controlling people. Yeah. We've got all these things going on, all because no one wants to use that accountability factor. And so then I get kind of frustrated because, yes, we've got this I don't know what to even call the audience. It's not bitter, but it's just distorted thinking crowd that is quick to jump on controversy. They quick to jump on mess. They quick to jump on anything that is adverse. And it's just like, yo, come on, man. That's crazy. It wasn't no low-key shooting her shot. Ellen, that was a straight up bazooka. She was like, blew you out. And the reason she felt bad about it at the end was because she was rejected. She felt rejected. She felt dejected. And that's a prime example of what my wife mentioned earlier about hurt people hurting people. We've got to, watch this, in order to have healthy relationships, we've got to heal internally from these types of hurts. We've got to heal internally from rejection. We've got to heal from dejection. We've got to heal from all of these things and recognize that, hey, I mean, and my thing is this man respectfully said, wrong place, wrong time. It wasn't a letting her down. It was simply letting her know there's somebody else that I'm dealing with I'm married, I'm taken, and just left it in. I mean, and I respect it because he could have easily went on a tirade. Girl, if it was a whole nother time, and you know, no, he didn't get in any of that. He did it really sweet, like, you know what, I will gladly take your number and give it to my wife, and you guys can set up your play date. That is about the most respectful way to do something like that there is. And watch, the root of rejection that was already inside of her rose up.
That's what manifested.
That's what rose up. It was already in her, that rejection. And so now let me dog him. Now let me, oh, he's weak. Oh, he's a punk. Oh, wait a minute. How do we, and listen, when you get people who come at you like that, who want to talk bad about you, name calling and all of this, they are dealing with a spirit of rejection. There's something deep down inside of them that don't even have anything to do with you. And so many of you will personalize this thing.
Big Mac, Gloria.
You're going to personalize a thing. When it's not for you to personalize, because it doesn't have anything to do with you. It is all about wrong place, wrong time, not now, keep it moving. She don't even know at some point, you know, if this man's marriage is going to maintain. And you know, maybe something may happen and she could have had a friend. But now, because of the rejection in her, this is why hurt people. Now the rejection in her will probably never talk to that man ever again. If she sees him in the park, it's going to be like, oh, he rejected me. I ain't got nothing to say with him. His little weak butt and blah. It's like, wait a minute. But we won't heal from things that have happened to us. So we move forward, we cover it up, we push it down, and we act like everything is all good. And the reality is everything is not good, because what came to surfaced for a reason. And we got to deal with the surface. Yeah. And many of us don't want to deal with the things that surface. And as a result, we go through cycles of broken relationships. Yeah. All the while we're blaming everybody else. Yeah. But there's something that keeps coming up out of us. Yeah. This is why we need to go back and say, you know what? Go through my bag.
Listen, nothing is wrong with open communication. Nothing is wrong with disclosures. Ain't nothing wrong with transparency and accountability in a marriage. Nothing is wrong with that. Now, from a single perspective, I could get, and that's why there are singles who say, I don't want to get married. They know their lane. I don't want to be transparent. I don't want to be considerate of anybody else's feelings but my own. So they stay single. They don't want to compromise. Stay single.
Compromise.
Compromise is a cuss word.
I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
I'm grown. I'm a grown A man. I'm a grown A woman.
Well, stay single.
Well, excuse me, grown. Stay single.
Don't start a family.
Stay by yourself.
Don't.
Send them 3 kids you done already had back. Since you're a grown A man and woman. Send them 3 kids and put them right back up in the shoe.
Not the shoe.
Because if you was grown, where am I working? If you was grown, you wouldn't have 3 kids. Let me
Listen.
Go ahead and shift gears.
Please go ahead and shift gears.
Y'all got me on this Chick-fil-A. They got something in the sandwich. I'm telling you, they got something in the sandwich because I'm on one tonight. Oh, they got something in the sandwich.
He is on one. But no, I would just say, even for the ones who may be single watching this, and you may not have any children right now, I would say, because there's this stigma that I don't want to date a man with children. I don't want to date a woman with children because of the drama. Okay, this is a prime example of This is a prime example of what a single person with no kids thinks. Imani, her thought is exactly what fear lies with a single person with no kids. I don't want to come into drama. I don't have no beef with no females. I'm going to start having beef with females because I want to date you. So it's one of those things, or beefing with a dude because men don't fight no more, they shoot. So that's a whole nother. I ain't putting my life in danger. What?
I mean,
It's serious.
boys.
A man will act
Boys.
retarded about their kids, boys. But still,
boys,
fathers, daddies,
boys,
that
and men bodies.
So
but let me say this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this out here as an angel's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what if she was just being friendly? What if there really wasn't an agenda and she was just saying, hey, I mean, now here's why I say that, because I know as a man that, we can't just compliment a woman. We can't say, hey, you are a beautiful woman without it being taken the wrong way. We can't say, you may be able to go on somebody's post and be like, girl, you better work it. I can't do that. Because if I do that, it's going to be looked at the wrong way. And so that same distorted thinking may also come into play with this, because maybe, small percentage, but just maybe, her thing was she was just being open-minded, and she felt like he would be open-minded as well, to be able to just say, hey, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. Let's go ahead and set the play date up.
So maybe, and that's a great point. And that's one of the points I brought up in our singles chat, because honestly, how he could have responded, because I understand how he could be taken as a punk or passive and all that. I get where people are coming with from that angle based off of how he transitioned. There was not no easy transition. It was like, okay, you want to involve me? Not you going to involve my wife. Like it was
when your wife didn't beat you up.
But listen, and what if that's not even the story? But listen, he just wants to cover himself at all costs, because he could have done something to breach something. You don't know.
That's why I said he's been there before.
So from that perspective, I'm going to do what I got to do. Mm-hmm. But what he could have done, like you said, if it was innocent, and it could have been innocent. If it was, okay, well, that's a great idea. Let me check. No, not even let me talk to my wife and figure out what's a good date for all of us to get together.
That's the same, but isn't that the same thing?
No. Because that doesn't involve I'm taking ownership of checking with my wife. You don't have to contact my wife. I'm not playing let me take a back seat on this. Listen, you are the middle person. They wouldn't be having a conversation if it wasn't for you. So don't just take a easy back seat because it's convenient. And it's like, okay, I don't even want to get involved in this. I'm going to just tell her to check with, go to my wife. It's like, okay, well, no, why don't you present it to your
Ellen,
wife?
I was thinking that he could have set the play date up and then brought his wife along. Yeah. And then when old girl would have had the shock of her life, then he could have just been like, then he would have knew what it was.
There's ways he could have.
But then again, I suspect, and I could be wrong, but then I suspect she still would have bashed him, because she'd have been like later on, and this brother had the nerve to bring his wife and blah, and it's like, oh man. So it's just so many ways to go around this and see it, and all of it is in projection. We don't know, because we don't know the person. We don't know. Again, we don't even know the entire dialogue. We got a piece of it. And that goes back to what I was saying before about how we've got to make sure that we're careful when we're communicating with people and how we communicate, because the reality is a snippet. In the media, this is how they make their living.
Yeah.
They will take a piece of what you say and distort it and make it seem like you said something completely different. Then when you hear the entire conversation, it's like, that's not what they meant.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening here. We only have a snippet of what really transpired. I'm pretty certain in order for her to feel comfortable enough to say, hey, let's set up a play date, they had to have been conversating for a moment.
I said it earlier. The fact of the matter is there's nothing wrong with the fact of him checking in with his wife, even if he were to bring his wife along, nothing is wrong with that dynamic whatsoever. I, again, just feel like because we don't know every particular, we don't know what happened in the past, we don't know all of that. So to my husband's point, we do just have a snippet. But based off of the snippet alone, what I shared with someone earlier, you don't have control over how something is perceived. You're not the person in the receiving mode. You're giving it off.
You're giving it out.
You're not on the receiving end.
Right.
So because you're not in the receiving end, and because this is a past relationship, you might want to be a little analytical and not just be all in the shade, if you will. You may want to say, okay, well, unless there's been a conversation and I know we both have moved on emotionally, okay, I know there's not nothing there.
Right.
But unless you know that as a confirmation, then you do run the risk of, in the event that, okay, I felt led on.
Right.
Or if he brought his wife along, his wife could have just came across something and said, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be there too. And in the back of her mind, she distortedly thinking, because the single moms do it, it's like, oh, okay, his wife is just being protective because she feels threatened by me. That's another distorted way of thinking.
Man.
So just because you bring the wife along doesn't mean.
Right there, baby.
I'm just saying.
Oh, you know what? Man.
I'm analytical. My husband married me, but I'm very analytical.
My husband married.
I probably get on his nerves because it's about everything. I'm just very
It's
analytical.
about everything.
Very
It is
analytical.
about
But it's our
everything.
anniversary and you're not going to just throw me out.
I ain't
Like
throwing you
that.
out. I just say this about everything, baby. I love it. That's why I married you. Because you think a thing through. You thought before you married me. Thought that thing through very thoroughly. In, out, up, down, around, and around. And you wasn't playing with that one. Went back in and out again. You was on it. Thought that thing straight through. Very analytical about it. Hey, I landed the fish though, y'all. I landed that bad. I fought.
Oh, and I shared something with someone
landed.
earlier, and I just have to brag on my husband a little bit. But what I said to her, let me go to it so I can brag on my husband a little bit. Yeah. Because he's been ignoring me lately, y'all. So,
oh my God, y'all. She's on this ignoring thing. She's been the one ignoring me, and she said I'm ignoring her.
You lucky.
Okay, she tried to call me today, and I didn't
He's been
answer.
doing that for a good 2 weeks now.
I was on the other line, and I was talking
it's
business.
Okay, I'm not gonna throw you out either.
I got in trouble, though.
I said Victoria told it. Go watch the video.
Does that make me a punk? Or was I being respectful?
I said, you're so stupid. I said, I fell out of love with my boyfriend to fall in love with my husband.
Ooh.
And so what I was sharing, same person, I'll put that in parentheses. So what I was saying is we went through a journey. You guys are watching a couple who has fought. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears.
Wait. I can't sit down and catch this one. I got to stand up and fight this bad boy.
Well, maybe not blood, but it was vision. It was in vision.
Maybe not blood.
Not blood.
Hey,
No
Jessica
blood was
Blake,
involved.
God bless
But no, and it's really true. And it made me appreciate our marriage so much because of the fact that when someone fights for you and when you have lost hope, because in the context it was the fact of I was at the place where I was getting ready to give up on love, period. Like it was like, because I was just that hopeless romantic. So it was devastating to me. What? The hopeless romantic giving up on love? And I was serious about it. And I knew because I had never felt that way before. And I'm like, oh, this is rock bottom. Like if I go through with this and not get healed, I'm going to be bitter. I'm going to hurt people along the way and I care. But I said that. I vocally said, like, I was just, so I knew what I needed to do to get healed. And it was just the fact that through my healing, I was able to also see my boyfriend at that point get healed And it was like, oh gosh. So that's why we can speak on transparency. That's why we can speak on vulnerability, because a healthy marriage has it.
Have to.
Has to. So I just wanted to just brag on you and all of that and our growth, and we made it and we helping people. But no, we just hope that this has blessed you all. It gave you a different.
A hopeless romantic in a hookup culture is hard. You know what? I like that.
I'm trying to tell you, Ellen. I was not out.
Listen, no, she's not out there, but her as a hopeless romantic. That, I mean, to this day, she still is.
I am.
And
I'm thankful this is it. Right? So you got to deal with it, right? I look. You got that part. Pray for your boy. That part. But no, it is hard. But the reality is that, and you know, we say it all the time to people and get people to understand that really, if you know, it's cliche. It is cliche now, but you know, wait on God. You know, God has to, you know, because again, and just kind of going back, we knew each other, but we didn't see each other. That's good.
And it wasn't until God was in a position to where he needed us to see each other that the blinders came off. And it was like, wait a minute, you've been there all along?
Yeah.
It's just really just the way it worked. And
the appreciation I didn't show or see when he was just that to me, I was able to see him in that light as my husband. So I could say wholeheartedly, you know, taken for granted, not being able to see. It was just something about the fight to be a better you outside of me, not just with me in mind, because what I was accustomed to was in my singleness, for those who are single ladies, in my singleness, it was like, okay, something happens, a breach happens, and now you're fake fighting to stay out the doghouse, or you're telling me what I want to hear, right? So I came into that cycle.
Right.
All relationships I was in, it was that cycle. Let me tell you what you want to hear, but I'm not really that invested to fight me. Not fight you, but fight me, the immature me, the insecure me, the prideful me.
Right.
So from that perspective, it's a difference when a man says, wait, I got to check me outside of you. I may want you. I may desire you. I may want this to be a longevity commitment, but I got to check me because I'm tripping.
Yep.
There is so much appreciation now, and that's why I married you.
My boo-boo. No, I mean, we fought. You know, we went through, and, you know, she's right. I fought for her because she was done. You know, I mean, we'd gone through some things, and she was just like, I can't see a future in this relationship. And what you mean you don't see a future in? You gotta sit your butt down and whatever. It was something.
I was so proper.
It was something. I'm like,
Fantastic.
So we really, you don't want me, then don't talk to me.
Free yourself.
Go ahead and free yourself. Like, hold up, I ain't freeing nothing. But we went through it.
The resistance was real.
And I just, I told her, no, it's not. We're gonna do this together. And no matter what you say, I know what I see, and I know what God has spoken to me about you. And that was the biggest key. God is the center of our relationship.
Yes,
you see us joke, you see us laugh, and all of the other stuff that goes on, but really God is the center of our relationship.
So that gives you hope. If you're not in a happy space right now, or just in a broken cycle, there's hope.
Oh,
even if it's in that relationship, God can turn it around. God can turn anything around. And so from that perspective, when you're submitted, both now, one not submitted and the other, I don't know.
Look.
But God has to be the center.
We decided
transformation,
to seek counseling. We decided to seek relationship coaching. We decided to seek help. It wasn't going to be done on our own. And now you have to understand,
stubborn.
we're talking about somebody who has been married for over 30 years already.
We stubborn.
Yes, I had already been married for over 30 years. I came into our relationship and I told her, I already know how to be married. I know what being married looks like. You ain't got to tell me nothing about marriage that I don't already know.
Snapped it. If he was into snapping, y'all, he don't roll that way. But if
I'm gonna be transparent. Now she's transparent. I was like, girl, I go to the store and get your tampons and tell you what kind you need. And she was like, you know what? But what I had to recognize was I had to learn her.
Oh my!
I couldn't bring that experience.
That's real true. You saying
no,
somebody.
Real true. I mean, y'all think I'm joking. That was me. I'm like, look, I already know. It ain't nothing about this. I already know that. That was my thing. I already know it, and she couldn't stand that.
But that spoke because it spoke to the negative seeds that were spoken. So in your singleness and when you're dating, you have to be mindful of allowing other people's fears to now come on you.
Right.
So the fear of, oh, it's not going to work, the age difference, he's never going to respect you as his equal.
That was the thing.
Okay.
So me not knowing that's spoken.
So anytime that there is even a hint of that, it's
day.
like, wait, hold up. Is this what they were talking about? So the negative seed was spoken.
Right. No, you're right, Jessica. And that's why for me, it wasn't a problem being able to say, okay, you know, because she kind of said that, you know, yes, you've been married, but the person you were married to is not me. We have different needs. We have different wants. And I mean, it was just like, that was all I really needed to hear to say, okay, you know what? You are absolutely right. I'm wrong. I'm going about this the whole wrong way. This is not riding a bike. This is about getting to know your emotions. This is about connecting with you. This is about, okay, I need help. So at that point, I didn't have a problem being able to say, you know what, let me get the help that's necessary. And through the help that was necessary, I landed this fish, boy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, show him the ring, baby. You better show him that ring. Look, landed that fish, show him the ring. I'm telling you, it's all about, but again, how many people are mature enough to acknowledge?
That's true.
I don't know. Or to acknowledge, I can't do this right. Or to be able to acknowledge, I do need help. And there's nothing wrong with admitting you need help.
But oftentimes, because experience with men particularly, what you're capable of doing, that's where the ego comes from.
That's right.
So wait a minute, I've accomplished this. This is part of my success. You're not gonna tell. No, I got a trophy in this. You're not gonna. How you gonna tell me? You ain't even been married before. Please. But that went into the fears that were being projected on me that I would have or not be, appreciated or valued or whatever the case may be. So I would say for the singles, definitely get around people when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to heal and truly have something substantial. Be very mindful of not surrounding you can still surround yourself with single people. That's fine. Have a mixture, single and married. But what I will say is make sure they're not mediocre.
Well,
because
I was going to say that's good, mediocre, but I was going to say just call it for what it is. Negativity.
Yeah, negativity.
Because here's the reality. If you've not been married, first of all, you don't know what being married is about. But here's my other thing.
It's work.
And I'm saying this again from experience. I'm weary, and I could be wrong for this, and some of y'all might reach out at me later, but I'm leery of people who've been married 3, 4, 5 times. Because to me, if you didn't get it right the first time, you shouldn't even have gone into the second one without the mindset of, I want this to be right.
Yeah.
And then to go from that to maybe a third, I'm like, okay, what is really going at this point? We've got to kind of centrifuge this thing and say, maybe I need some work. Maybe I need something to deal with because I'm working on my 4th. I'm working on my 5th. Whoa, What that is, I think to a certain degree that, so I say that to say, to my wife's point, you know, we teach this and preach this literally.
Yeah.
Single people keep surrounding themselves with single people, but that's not helping your cause.
Nope.
Because everybody that you're around is single.
So
and
you
nobody
have
can
one
speak to, watch this, nobody can truly speak to your destiny.
Mm.
But for married couples to come into your life, they now can speak to your destiny because they are where you're trying to go.
Yes.
And they can help
And
give
see
you
us,
some.
we're down to earth.
No, and we listen. We deal with single. Look, my wife told you we got some things coming up with the singles. That's going to be awesome and amazing. I mean, you know, I want to give y'all a tidbit. Can I give them a little tidbit? There's a teaser.
Yeah.
That we're going to do a meet and greet singles mixer. We're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're going to get those that's on our panel to come together and talk with us. And we're going to do a live. We're going to have video. I mean, we're going to go all out, y'all. We're going to get some food. We're going to have a DJ cutting up in the back with some. Look, we want y'all to join us if you're in the Georgia area. We're going to come out with some more dates and we're going to tell you,
give you the specifics. Type of stuff. But if you want, you guys could be there. We actually are doing a live audience perspective. Yes,
you can ask us questions, and the panel will answer your question.
Exactly.
But to the point that we're making, because you know we're surrounded with single. Surround yourself with married people. Stop thinking you're a fifth wheel. Stop thinking you're an oddball. Stop thinking you're the third tire. No,
you got to healthy disagreement.
Exactly, but you need wisdom.
Yeah.
You need insight. What better? Who better to get that info from than people who are there, who are doing it, who can share with you, hey, you know what? You might want to look at this that way. You might want to consider this that way. You might want to consider, but when you get all single friends, everybody's thinking they got it together. Nobody wants to be accountable. Nobody wants to be told what to do. Most of them don't understand what submission looks like. Most of them don't. You see what I'm saying? They don't know what it is to share. And so you want to be able to recognize that, wait a minute, I need to surround myself with people so I can see examples of where I'm going. That's my destiny. That's my purpose. But if I don't even surround myself with where I'm going, how am I going to get there? I don't even see it. It's vision. It's vision. You got to see it. Yeah. Seeing it is far beyond just getting a wedding dress. I'm going to get a wedding magazine and look at the wedding dress. That's not seeing a marriage. That's seeing a ceremony.
Yeah.
Seeing a marriage is being able to recognize disagreements. It's watching people walk through issues. It's watching people deal with problems and how they come together to solve those things. That's what you're trying to get, not the ceremony. Yeah. And many of you have a vision board and you got the ceremony all picked out, but inside the ceremony, there's no marriage.
Yeah.
So this is why you want to surround yourself with the right people who can help your vision, who can help your destiny and help your purpose.
Absolutely.
Let me stop preaching to these folks, man.
So no, we hope that you all have enjoyed this. If you are just now tuning in, we were discussing a meme that actually went viral yesterday.
Is he a punk?
Is he a punk?
Is he a punk or is he being respectful?
Yes.
He a punk, y'all. So, they said he was a punk.
So if you want to know what we're talking about in the tea,
go back and watch it at the beginning.
Go ahead and catch the replay.
They said he was a punk, y'all. They said he was soft.
Catch the replay. If you
treated like he was silent.
If you want to sow into the ministry or the show, it's Cash App $, Let's Unwind. If this has helped you from a different perspective.
That girl. With the dollar sign.
You're so silly. Cash App $, Let's
Unwind.
Ellen. We love you all. Listen, we could not do this without you.
No.
We understand the demand for that singles need. Singles need a healthy example.
Singles and married folks, relationships.
Yes. Both, all of them.
Listen, relationships are, right now the enemy is attacking relationships.
Yes.
And we're thankful that God has given us the assignment to
That's
help
why
bring
our
tools.
fight was so large.
Oh, and that's it. Y'all don't understand, but
Y'all
that's
don't-
why God has given
all
us the
this for
tools
y'all.
to help
Yes.
y'all. Every last one of y'all. Every last one of y'all. Rob, every last one of y'all.
Every last one.
Every last one.
We're getting ready to get us out of here, you guys. Until next time.
Until next time.
Deuces.
Peace, y'all. Let's do that thing. Yeah, let's get to my sandwich. I'm going to unpack the bag.
Chick-fil-A did not sponsor this video. Cut.